Mind control.
The signs are everywhere.
Themes like The Wizard of Oz,
Red Shoes.
MK Ultra rules in Hollywood.
Please be the dog bag.
Don't you want to go with rainbow and rainbow and...
What is the connection between Wizard of Oz and an ancient form of mind control? Why did Stanley Kubrick include references to going where the rainbow ends in his film Eyes Wide Shut? And what role might the red shoes play in this bizarre subculture? Like Oz itself, the movie has its own dark side, a land of occult philosophy, government mind control programs, and more. So hold on, because we're not in Kansas anymore. Trauma-based mind control, also known as monarch mind control, uses dissociation to create a total mind-controlled slave.
Through hypnosis, mind control, brainwashing, you create a new identity in a person. You create an amnesia barrier between their ordinary identity and the new identity or altered personality. The newly created identity can be used for actual operations, that is, explosives, infiltration, surveillance.
This is what the CIA perfected under Operation MK Ultra.
The goal remained the same. As this 1952 CIA memo says, the aim is controlling an individual to the point where he will do our bidding against his will, and even against such fundamental laws of nature as self-preservation.
Almost all documentation relating to MK Ultra or monarch mind control mentions the importance of the movie Wizard of Oz. After World War II, the United States continued Nazi mind control projects, bringing over top Nazi scientists to continue their heinous experiments. It was in the late 40s that the movie Wizard of Oz was chosen as a programming script for the intelligence community's mind control program. Programming scripts provide the thematic foundation upon which alters and triggers are created.
When they program, they layer in the programming. They use a lot of, some of the base programs are your Alien scripts, your Alice in Wonderland, and Wizard of Oz. Those are very common base programming scripts. And also Star Wars and Star Trek. Star Trek's a big one.
They had very sophisticated programming themes. Themes like The Wizard of Oz and Over the Rainbow and Dolphins and Whales and Hearts and Roses and Monarch Butterflies, and if you know what they are, you'll know a lot of how it works, and you'll be able to see it in the media. You'll be able to see the themes when they talk about Over the Rainbow. You'll know that a lot of us were programmed not to remember what happened over the rainbow. What happened over the rainbow was all the government stuff that was then hidden as they attempted to confuse fact with fantasy and keep all of this totally and completely hidden.
To mentally escape the abuse, victims of this type of mind control dissociate. In Wizard of Oz programming, this is when they go over the rainbow, where there is no trouble, or in Alice in Wonderland, through the looking glass. Disgraced DC lobbyist Tony Podesta's artwork became the topic of online controversy after disturbing images of his sadistic paintings came to light. But it was one thing in particular that left researchers baffled: the preponderance of red shoes depicted throughout. Could this be referring to Wizard of Oz, ruby slippers, and monarch programming?
Yes. The occult, the Illuminati, basically the same thing. They're obsessed with symbolism. And another interesting tie-in with the red shoes is that the Illuminati, the elites, they use the Wizard of Oz to mind control child slaves. They use different media. Alice in Wonderland's another one. They use different Disney movies and certain films to program children. And part of the programming is abuse them because the abuse splits their personality and creates different personalities. So then they are able to program them and control them, and they virtually become it's called MK Ultra programming. And this is a known thing. It's something the CIA has been doing for years, and you can find this on the internet. The CIA was forced to declassify documents that prove that they were conducting these kinds of tests and experiments and mind controlling people. But they use the Wizard of Oz to mind control these child sex abuse victims. Well, what does Dorothy wear in the Wizard of Oz? Red shoes.
The victim will be dressed according to their programming. So for some victims, seeing red shoes in the right setting could be enough to trigger a switch back into a dissociative state. Illuminati monarch slaves are taught they must follow the yellow brick road. Regardless of what lies ahead, they are not to stray from the path laid out for them. Winged monkeys reinforce a fear of always being watched. Similar to Dorothy and Toto, monarch victims will be allowed to bond with a pet. Sometimes the pet will be killed to further cause dissociation. With a level of emotion typically reserved for the death of a loved one, Ellen DeGeneres broke down on her show over a dog being taken from a family. Researchers have suggested there could be more than meets the eye to Ellen's overreaction.
And because I did it wrong, those people went and took that dog out of their home. I shouldn't have given the dog away. Just please give the dog back to those little girls. I'm sorry. I didn't call you. I'm sorry. I did the wrong thing.
The threat of killing or taking away the pet will be used to control the slave. The poppy field is an allusion to opium, which is used to tranquilize MK slaves. Dorothy is awakened by snow, a not-so-veiled reference to cocaine, a substance commonly given to monarch slaves to help make them dependent. These classic programming scripts are constantly being refreshed and remade for new generations. Popular movies are chosen so that triggers and code words can be used openly, with few outsiders ever being the wiser. For instance, in Eyes Wide Shut, Bill Harford is asked by a couple of elite sex slaves, "Don't you want to go where the rainbow ends?"
Where the rainbow ends.
Where the rainbow ends.
Don't you want to go where the rainbow ends?
Later, Harford goes to a costume shop called Rainbow Fashions. On the other side, he finds a father selling his daughter. The connections between Wizard of Oz rainbow symbolism and mind control/human trafficking are unmistakable.
The signs are everywhere. Sometimes you just have to take a second look. Human trafficking is modern-day slavery, and it happens in our own communities.
The Wizard of Oz itself is full of occult themes and ideologies, so much so that notorious Satanist Aleister Crowley wrote a document called Liber 777, or Book of Oz. Frank L. Baum, the author, was himself part of the Theosophical Society. The Theosophical Society was founded by famed Luciferian Madame Blavatsky, who is admired by Satanists such as Marina Abramovic. Baum wrote various theosophical themes and allegories into the Oz stories themselves. Oz is actually short for Osiris, one of the gods of the Egyptian mystery religions. Professor Marvel, who is later seen as the wizard, claims his crystal ball is the same one used by the priests of Isis and Osiris.
Sit right down here. That's it. This is the same genuine, magic, authentic crystal used by the priests of Isis and Osiris in the days of the pharaohs of Egypt.
One of the greatest secrets of these ancient mystery schools was the ability to use hypnosis and torture to create compartmentalized personalities, mind-controlled slaves. All around us in everyday life, there is another world. Its symbols and traditions rooted in ancient occultism and hidden in plain sight. A world to which we ordinary people are not privy. But every once in a while, those with eyes that see just might catch a glimpse at the other side of the rainbow. So what do you think? If you're like me, you always felt something a little creepy about this movie. Leave a comment and let me know. I want to give a special thanks to my amazing patrons over at patreon.com for making this channel possible. Thank you. For a complete breakdown of trauma-based mind control and some of the celebrities involved, see my MK Ultra documentary. And remember, the more people that know about their little codes, the less they can work. So share this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe.